What's up, everybody? Back with another episode of Meet My Beat. Today we're going to break down a song I co-wrote and co-produced called Whisper by Betty Who. I co-wrote this with Jay Hart and Betty Who herself, and I co-produced it with my good friend Peter Thomas, along with my friend Alina, also known as Lyre, L-Y-R-E. She did the vocal production on this, and I think she did a stellar job. So let's get into it. I think first, let's get into the intro. Interesting thing about this intro, this is the second version of the song. So I originally did a certain version. It was like very guitar driven. It wasn't a synthy. And then it was Peter's idea to kind of straighten the beat out and have it a little bit more inspired by Jason Derulo's Want to Want Me. It was a big inspiration for this one. But to give you a little, if you remember the intro, it's got this kind of little radio vibe thing, which is all just a bunch of chopped up stuff. So what I did, the original version didn't go to full waste because I ended up using some of the original intro. Here, I have it right here. Here's the original intro. So I chopped that and then put it together with some, like I chopped into it so that it sounded like, you know, it was on the radio. And I don't know why, but this is muted. And I actually went into my car and I recorded some radio stuff and we didn't use it. I'm guessing maybe for like clearance issues, maybe samples like... I just went and like scrolled through radio in my car, but we didn't use it. So that's the intro. Now, I guess let's get into drums. So that's going to be everything here in red. So we start out pretty simple. So that's where we are in the song. Little dance kick. Got a clap. Got a snare. And there's a different snare. How does that snare sound by itself? Ooh, it's a thick boy. Wow. So it has an EQ boosting all this. It's kind of like a kick. And it also has an OTT, a transient master, and a glue on it. So we really went to town on this, hey? Oh yeah, sustain's pulled all the way down. Here's what it sounds like without it. Now with it. Whew. My God. Okay. So that's the drums there. So we have this 5-beat guitar. This is basically just a Strat that I played and then put a couple of things on it, but let's just hear it without anything else on it. Just a chopped up. Oh, cool. So it's just that, and then it's going through a guitar rig, and then a reverb, and then after that is an LFO tool so that it ducks. And it's coming after the reverb, so that the reverb itself pumps. So this is without the, this gives it some rhythm. And then the one knob filter is essentially cutting most of the high end. So it feels kind of underwater, kind of in the distance, but it kind of ends up just sounding like a single drone. And then I don't remember if me or Peter played this, but one of us played it. And it's just a live bass. We went for about a week to finish this record, Betty, self-titled record, Betty. Me and Peter Thomas were the co-executive producers, and she wanted to kind of get out of town for a little bit. So she rented a house in Palm Springs, me, Peter, and Alina. So me and Peter would work kind of separately on different songs in different rooms, and then her and Alina would go cut vocals in another room. It was great. It was like pretty efficient. I cooked dinner at night. And we essentially knocked out this, If I'm Not the One. We knocked out like the majority of finishing the record there at the house in Palm Springs in that like 5 or 6 day period. It was really great. Anyway, so this is the bass, and it's just live bass, nothing crazy happening. It's going into a standard Guitar Amp Pro bass, clean DI, some compression. This is probably just a preset. It's just the warm DI box preset in Logic. Oh, okay. I guess we're pumping out a lot of the mids. And that's pretty much all we got going in the first verse. Oh, there's also this. Wow. This is a preset that I made called Knock Bass. It's got a lot of stuff happening on it. So let's see. It's a Nexus bass. This is what it sounds like without all the plugins. Now with all of them. I don't know how much that's really doing. But I wanted it to have like a really hard attack on it. But this is all that's happening. I think. Oh, there's more. So there's this ARP. Sounds like a Juno ARP. That probably is. And then there's a bass womp. So those are kind of to push the to push that kind of offbeat. All right, so then we have this pre-chorus coming up. Got some sweeps, of course. You know, pluck verb. Of course. What do you want to bet that that's from a Cashmere pack? I'm gonna put my money on Cashmere. Verb clap. Get a little moment here. This ARP sounds like pre-ARP. Kind of sounds like the Harry Styles song. Let's see what's happening in the pre-chorus. Oh, this is a cool thing. My DX7 I brought out to Palm Springs, my like vintage 80s DX7. Ooh. Perfect for a Betty Who project. And there's a micro shift and a sample delay on it because that keyboard, I think we were coming just mono. We were just getting a mono signal. So I obviously wanted to spread it so that it had some width to it. Got a little Hoover bass. I believe that this is from my Juno as well because I brought the Juno up there. Pre-pad. Ooh. Wonderful. That is from a Juno plugin. Even though I do have a Juno 60, sometimes I just go to the plugin because
I'm a lazy bitch.
Short. This is a massive patch. That's just kind of hitting those. Doing that. That's it. Now we go into this massive chorus. So let's break this down. So this is what we got going on for drums. So these are our drums. Actually, okay. Somebody's gonna steal these drums for sure, because I would do the same. So it's basically the same as the verse drums, except we have a couple of added elements, like Mr. Tiny Hat right here. And he's galloping. So okay, we've got a yow in there with some delay and a space designer on it. We've got an open hat that hits on the downbeat right there, right here, and right here, and a yow and a laser. Some toms coming up right here. Those are panned to left and right. Yep. I don't even have to look, and I know what I got. I'm predictable. Very predictable. Up sweep, tiny hat, same kick, same snare. So just basically just added a couple of new elements. Some toms, small hat. That's a very Peter Thomas thing to do, by the way. Like, I want to go fucking balls in, tits up, into the place. Peter's like, dude, less. So that's like why me and Peter work very well together, is because he's really good at less, which is such a skill that I'm still trying to hone. So yeah, that's it. Tiny ass little hi-hat. That's a total Peter move right there. Then we have this made a couple appearances on this record and many records to come. We call it the Pretty Thomas Orchid because me and Peter Thomas made it for All This Woman, actually. And it's, oh my God. We picked like a JP80, we took an orchestral hit. We couldn't find that like classic, like almost New Jack Swing era or Max Martin, Backstreet, NSYNC era stab. Like we couldn't find that sample, so we just had to make one. So we scrounged together a couple of different samples and we made the Pretty Thomas Orchid, and it's a frickin' smacker. So there's an offbeat 1-2. Because, okay, so one other thing. This is getting sent to a synth bus where all the synths are getting sent to this bus. Oh my goodness. So they're being sidechained by this ghost kick up here. And that's because I didn't want to put like an LFO tool on it because a lot of the hits are off beat, right? It wasn't getting the sidechain effect in the right spot. So we were like, we need to actually sidechain it. And it's being sidechained. So that we get that big pumping effect, you know? All right, so let's get into some of these synths. There's a lot of them. I'm going to go through them quickly because I don't want this video to be too long. Also, some of them are redundant. Let's get down into it. Okay, so we've got our ORC hits with our plucks. We've got our guitar rhythm. Right here. Okay, so for basses, we've got 4 of them, I guess. 1 wasn't enough. We've got that bass knocker again. And I'm just going to say by the name of this one, the 303 Throat. That's a P.D. Thomas right there. Bass knocker, me for sure. And then there's a sub in here, which is a Mike Hawkins. Mike Hawk, yep. Sub. And that's a serum patch. We got the bass knocker, which is, we saw, it's got a bit crusher on it too. And a sample delay. Okay, that's cool. We've got the 303 Throat. We just really needed a lot of bass. Okay, so these are all the pads we have happening. Clean Juno. All these are printed down. I obviously have all of the software synths somewhere, but before it gets sent to mix, obviously I had to print all this stuff down. But off the top of my head, this is a Tall U Juno plugin. Piano, I like to put like hard chopped, like hard compressed pianos on downbeat chords, even if they're in the mix. I think they're really effective, especially for Betty's music. At this time, we were really going for a big 80s sound mixed with like big 90s boy band, early 2000s boy band stuff. She's a huge Max Martin fan, and I feel like, you know, Britney and like all that stuff has like that hard kind of piano octaves. There's a saw happening. I guess that's another bass, but I didn't color it properly. There's another polysynth. So thick. Another saw poly. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's a Peter. That's for sure Peter. Then we got this fun pedaler. Honestly, this is one of the most effective things. It's so small, but it just kind of just keeps it moving. But like without it, not with it. So that's a big Peter Thomas thing too. Bass. Not as if we didn't have enough. Why? Sounds good. We got some sparklies. Just giving us a little vibe, like see without it. Then we got this Tall U Juno 60. Obviously the attack is pulled down a little bit, so it's not so harsh when it's hitting that. Also, where's that bass swamp? Oh, here. This one is so cool. Wow, right there, so cool. Whew. Ah, there it is. Just in that one place. Whew. And then it happens again right here. Going into the second verse. And then we got this stab in here too, because if we didn't have enough Juno stabs. This is one I made a long time ago for a song that I put out as Zach Waters, only released in Japan. It's called You Fucking Love Me. And this is a Juno stab that I made with like a fast LFO for funk stuff, you know, but what else? Crystal Puff. I don't have any idea what that is, but it's in there and it's just vibes. So that's our first chorus. Okay. Second verse. So the difference with V1 and V2 is that we've got those tiny hi-hats that we brought in chorus 1. Okay. So we have harmonies. We've got a fill happening. Yeah, we've got this fill here. I do. Just one hard clap because that just had to be there. So the difference in the second verse is now that we have this pre-pad. Didn't come in the first time until the first pre-chorus, but now it's in the second verse. So we get a lift because without this, it's essentially the same as the first verse. But we got a little bit more pad texture and the small hats. And then we go into second pre-chorus. Let's see, is there anything new here? It looks like there's a snap to keep our momentum going. Yep. Same pads in DX7. Now we got some. So I remember this taking a long time to get right. Second chorus, we have added the classic pop high string. Almost every genre does this actually. Lots like Dr. Dre. I feel like I learned it from Dr. Dre. But that just gives it elevation. And now we have these other little chuggers happening. These are to all tall U's. So we wanted to put a little bit of melody into it. So there's a high one doing a little bit more melodic. This keeps the, what are those? Would that be 30-second notes? 2 E and 3 E and F already. Keeps this fast momentum happening. Okay, we get some new drums here too. So in the second half, we're gonna get some more hats. These are some chopped up boys to really. Oh yeah, there's these little scrunchies. Ooh yeah, this little breath right here, like. You gotta add just a little bit every time. To be honest, I probably add too much, so I'm still learning to add less. Also, this is like fully going. As you can see in the front half, it was like more chopped. So this is rocking. What else have we added? Oh, we have ARPs now in the chorus. And one wasn't enough. We needed two. They're basically doing the same thing, just one's a lower register. Then we get bells now. So the second chorus is the first time we get these bells, I believe. Yeah. So those are my 80s bells. I use those also on a song called You Fucking Love Me, only released in Japan on the Z-Funk era Zach Waters album. Anyway, those bells, nostalgia. But like you could see like that second half of this chorus here.
My ear when you whisper in my ear like, come take a bite, don't say goodbye, let's run away.
So we get an ad lib in the second half of the chorus in the music with those ARPs. These guys like really add a lot. Without them, you know. Oh, I heard a bass slap. What do you know? It's a Pretty Sister production. There's gotta be a bass slap here. Just happens in the second and the third chorus. It's gotta, you know. Let's get into the bridge. So, we wanted a dreamy little bridge. Because these choruses are pretty aggressive, if you ask me. So we've got our down sweeps, of course, with our verb claps, you know, landing us on a new planet. We've got this like CB80, this like old drum machine vibes. Yeah. We've got our little tiny, yeah, this little snare. I remember it's like a CR7. It's a splice loop though that we chopped. So just a halftime vibe here. Of course, we got our burn plug. Vibe guitar still happening. Creating this pad. Now we want to get back to double time, or I guess normal time. Oh, this diva pad. Sounds great. So that's a diva sub. Hold down the bottom. Got our ARP that's been in here the whole time. Bridge Hoover, this is the only place that this exists. Give us extra 80s vibes. Got our DX7. And you always need a flute. That's a tropical flute. That is a Nexus patch. And then I took the acapella and I just had to add some like verb moments. Right here. This part. Because like, how do you come out of that part and get back into the chorus? You know what I'm saying? So we need a little moment to happen here.
Come take a ride, take a bite, let's run away.
That took a while to figure out. Because it's got like a double kind of fake you out reverse thing.
Come take a ride, take a bite, let's run.
See what's going on there. So.
Come take a ride.
Okay, so I used the Waves Morphoder here.
Come take a ride.
Give us a little vocoder moment. Printed it. And then obviously we took the synths, all of the synths, and it looks like, let's see. Sounds like a Batman soundtrack. Like Bane's theme. So yeah, it's all of the synths. It's all the pad synths, like all the Juno pads, like reversed. And I think the Saw basses just printed all together, just bounced all together, and then reversed and faded. So we go. Come take a ride.
Come take a ride, take a bite, let's run away. Swear on my life, let's fall.
Okay, and this last chorus, let's see what we got.
Straight from your lips into my soul, I can't.
Got one additional pad, as if we did not have enough.
Come take a ride, take a bite, let's run away. Swear on my life, let's fall.
Just to give us a little bit more high-end information. Heavily sidechained, as you can hear. Basses are the same, as I can see. Of course, we've got these new big exhausts. They don't happen anywhere else in the song. This last chorus, you need to, we need more space, more spaceship noises. And that's pretty much it for the track. So now we're gonna get into the vocal session. The vocal producer on this project was Alina Smith of @Lyre Music Group. If you wanna follow her on Instagram, TikTok, @Lyre, Lyre Music Group. Great producer, great vocal producer, great songwriter. She also does very educational videos. Check her out. Anyway, so what does a vocal producer do? It depends. Sometimes they're a coach, they're a mentor, they're like a vibe. A lot of times they help with harmonies. They do a lot of the vocal cleanup work, vocal line, melodyne, tuning stuff. Another musical brain in the room is always helpful when, doing doubles, ad-libs, counter melodies, all kinds of stuff. So that's what Alina and Betty did together. Then once they recorded, she sent me the files and I did some more detail work as far as the vocals go before it got sent off to mix. Let's just start with the verses.
Why do you gotta be bad for my health?
So
Even my
I can see here that I
the reason I need help.
got some delay automation happening.
Every time you come around, I'm back
So
at
that-
square one.
So I do that because I want the delay only happening like a tail, right? I don't want it happening over the vocal. So we got those verb throws.
Even my therapist
Chorus.
whisper in my ear like this. Come take a ride, don't say goodbye,
So we
let's
just got
run
a
away.
main,
Swear on my
left,
life,
right, double.
let's roll the dice and leave today.
Low
Straight
octave.
from your lips into my soul.
And then this is a really cool part that Alina and Betty came up with, is this ascending harmony stack. It's really cool.
Whisper in my ear, when you whisper in my ear, when you whisper in my ear like
That is an example of something that a vocal producer would come up with or help to come up with.
twist. When you whisper in my ear, when you whisper in my ear, when
Now, second verse, harmonies.
When I'm staying strong.
Still got these verb throws.
It's just
Dope. Dope little background pedal here.
It's just one kiss. Then you
Adds a great little new moment, tapping in the second pre-chorus.
in my ear like this.
Chorus.
Take a bite, don't say goodbye.
So now we've got a high harm. Just like super tuned, just to make sure it's perfect. You know, sometimes it sounds better, especially with pop music, if it's like tuned ridiculously. Once you start stacking a bunch of harmonies, it's like you don't want a bunch of grinding happening. So you need that bitch to be tuned right and clean. So Alina did a great job doing it.
Lips into my
Ad libs come in.
Come take a bite, don't say goodbye. Let's run away.
Come on, birdie.
Let's roll the dice and leave today.
We got the bridge coming up here. So I wanted to kind of launch into that with some more verb throws.
In my ear like, bring me.
So I wanted this part to be a little bit more ethereal. So, you know, instead of creating a new bus and just putting more verb on that bus, like as a send, but sometimes I just throw a little filter and a delay and a reverb on the track itself before it's getting sent to its respective vocal bus, because yeah, I feel like that's just the easiest way to just add some reverb, or just put it directly on the track. I don't generally do that for like a main vocal, but for affected vocals, just like go for it. Just verbs, whatever, do what you got to do. So
Come take a bite, don't say goodbye. Let's run away.
now we've got ad libs, doubles, and now we got harmonies. They're doing all kinds of pedal stuff.
I
turn it way up so you can hear. So Alina and Betty did a great job just adding to that last chorus. More harmonies, more pedal notes, more ad libs. And then gang vocals. We're just being wild. Sound like Chumbawamba a little bit. Let's see, turn them up. That's just us. So that's me and Betty. Just. Oh, me coughing. So that's me and Alina and Peter and Betty. Yeah, so we're just like fucking. So that's, you know, if you got trying to do gang vocals, you only got a couple people, just record multiple takes, multiple, you know, stand different distances from the mic. Apparently, just like feel free to just talk.
Blow your voice in 2 minutes.
I was trying so hard not to cough.
Yeah, have fun on tour.
Also, this shit sounds amazing in headphones.
Have fun on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a bunch of different characters. Yeah, so that's just me, Alina, Betty, and Peter Thomas. Just acting a fool in the studio, and that's gang vocals. That's just, but it elevates, right? Like, the crowd singing when you mix it. It just adds a little Chumbawamba vibe.
And nobody's ever mad at that.
All right, so that is the vocals, and that is the production for Betty Who's Whisper. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I'm going to be doing a lot more this year, so stay tuned. Let me know in the comments ones you'd like to hear, or if you'd like me to explain something. I'll try to do it in the next video. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.